Hello, I'm Linda from Barlates Body Blitz and his little Minnie in her bucket bed. Today we're doing hip mobility rotations. So it's all about the hips. We're going to be opening up through the entire hip area, including the hip flexor as well as the outer hips, because a lot of people are tight there. We'll be using a mat mainly today, and I'm going to be using a chair for some of the exercises. And because for one of the exercises we're going to have our leg up on the chair, you want something soft on the seat of the chair. So I've just doubled up my mat, but if you want to use a cushion, you could do that as well, just something that doesn't slide around too easily. We're going to get straight into it, so I want you to come into a nice wide stance. I want your toes almost straight to the front, but slightly turned out, and all we're going to do is start going into a side lunge. Slow and controlled. So this whole workout is going to be slow and controlled because I really want you to think about feeling your hips. So at the moment, we are pushing our butt towards the back wall and we're coming low and we're rotating a little bit into it. And the more you rotate, the more you're going to feel your butt and hips going towards the back corner. So you really want to start getting right down there and rotating through the waist. Make sure your back is flat, your tummy's pulled in, and you're getting a nice inner thigh stretch on the other leg as well. Just a few more like this. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I want you to stay in the same wide stance, but bring your toes internally rotated. We're not going to go down as low, but I want you to start doing the same sort of thing, pushing your butt diagonally back, but with that internal rotation, you're going to feel it even more. The more you can turn your toes in, the better. And if you find this is a bit unstable, then just grab the chair and grab onto the seat of the chair in front of you. Now, as you get warmer, I want you to get lower. Maybe you can put your flat palm onto the mat next to your foot. Now start really rotating into it with your torso, so from the waist. And stop down there for a split second and really just think about pushing and pressing that outer hip and glute medius to the back corner. Push and press. Push and press. Just 4 more like this. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to do a few rotations before we go into some of the more concentrated work. So grab your chair and just put it in front of you. I'm just going to keep my mat on there. Place both your palms flat. Push out of your shoulder blades. Make sure your neck is nice and long, your tummy's in, your back is flat. Pick up the front leg, and we're just going to do like a hydrant. But what I want you to focus on here is really opening out as wide as you can. So try and keep your chest facing the chair and really try to over-exaggerate that rotation. So it's up and you're almost poking your toe back and down, okay? So start coming up and rotating the hips slightly at the top. It's okay to turn your chest out a little bit. I just want you to focus on mainly opening the hip. So now start to actually rotate and poke your toe to the back wall. So it's up, rotate and poke, and back down with control. Up, rotate and poke, and back down. Rotate and poke, and back down. This is great for the core as well. 2 more like this, and down. Last one. Now let's keep it there, and we'll just do a little poke and wrap. Poke and wrap. So we're doing a poke with the toe, and we're pushing our hips forward. Poke and wrap. So think about squeezing your glute and pushing your hips slightly to the front as you push your toe to the back wall. So your hip is pushing in opposition to your toe. Push and wrap. Push and wrap. Should be a nice fire going on there. Really stretch your hip flexor. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now come back to the central position and we're just going to do rotations. Up and around. So it's a similar motion but you're just opening up through that hip, getting some heat in there, getting a nice big rotation, up and around, up and around. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now lengthen your leg, point your toe, bring your leg up in line with your butt, and we're going to do that same rotate, push your hip out and come back in line. Rotate open, come back in line. So you're rotating with a straight leg now, which puts a lot more pressure on your hip. Now I want you to, at the top, really allow your leg to drop and then come back to parallel. Down and let your leg be heavy and drop. It's okay to open your chest out a little bit here as your leg opens out. So really think your hip is rotating and you're making that leg heavy and dropping. The entire rotation is happening in the hip. You're not rotating your knee, you're not rotating your foot, it's your hip and your leg is just following. Nice heat building in the supporting leg as well. We like to multitask. Up and rotate, just 2 more like this. Up and rotate. Up and rotate. Now stay in this position and just rotate more. Rotate more. So you're pushing your hip to the front. You're rotating your kneecap up to the ceiling. Rotate more. Try and keep your legs straight. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Okay, we're going to do that to the other side. So I'm just going to move my chair so you can see better, but you don't even have to do that. And we're going to go into the same position, parallel chest to the floor, and we're starting with the hydrant. So bend your leg and open it up. So just a hydrant to begin with. I want you to get the same feeling before we go into a larger range of motion. Blow out all the air. And remember, you're opening up and you're rotating from the hip. It's not your foot, it's not your knee, it's your hip that is moving up and down. Now start to poke your toe up and diagonally back. So it will actually get you to open the hip even more. As your toe goes to the back, you're starting to push your hip to the front. So push your hip in opposition to that poke. You're always breathing out on the up. Push it back. Up and back. Really poke it. The more you open, the more you're going to feel this opening the hips. The more you push forward with that hip at the top of the motion right there, right here, the more you're going to feel that hip stretching and opening. 4 more. 3, 2, last one. Stay up and now just poke to the back with that toe, keeping your leg as high as you can. Push forward with the hip as you poke back with the toe. Back and back. Back and back. Just 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back in line and we're doing those circles up and around. Big circles up and around. Try and keep your chest to the chair. Once you see the exercise, try and look in front of you. Don't always crane your neck to look at me. Up and around. Up and around. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now extend your leg long. You're still in that parallel position. And we're going to bring it up to approximately butt height. Now open out and back in line. Open and stretch, back in line. So as you open, you're pushing your hip. You're squeezing the underside of your glutes, pushing your hips to the front. And blowing all that air out, back in line. Open out, back in line. Really rotate there. As high as you can and opening out as much as you can. 4 more. 3, 2, 1, stay in this position, and we're just going to rotate more. Rotate more, rotating the hip to the front, the heel down, the knee up. Keep your leg long. If you need to drop it a little bit, you can. I just want you to squeeze that glute, rotate, rotate. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Okay, we're going back to the side lunge, so just move your chair out of the way. We're coming back into the wide position with our feet slightly turned out, very slightly turned out. So start with that lunge again, side to side. Now, this move may not be for everyone. We're going to try and come all the way down and sit our butt on the ground. But if you find that your mobility isn't there, then just keep doing the side lunges for 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're going to come down and we're going to sit all the way down. Now from here, you can use your hands to help you back up. So come down, sit your butt all the way down. Try and keep a wide stance. Rotate forward, and if you can without hands, that's great. But if you can't do it without hands, then just push off your fingertips and come back up. We're going to do a few here so you get a chance to get used to this motion. And up. Down. Slightly hinge forward, and that's probably the best way to do it. To just use your fingertips to roll forward, push up, come into a wide stance, come down. We're going to add on to this. So come down. I'm going to go to the other side and then add on. Come down. Now from here, I want you to bring your knees together and rotate out. Bring your knees together and rotate out. You can rotate with your torso as you bring your knee down. Over and up. 2 more like this. Really open out here. Last one. Then come forward and up. And back down on the other side. And we're doing the same thing. You're going to rotate. So your knees are coming kind of together. It doesn't have to be touching or anything, but I want a wide stance. Rotate to the back. And then rotate to the back. Really push into your foot on this bent side and try to push your knee as far back as you can on the up. 2 more. Last one. We're going to come back forward, up, other side. Do 2 here. 1. Really push against that knee. 2. Come forward, up, down on the other side. Do 2 here. Again, forward, up, other side. 2 here. And forward, up, down, and 2 here. Okay, nice job. Come back up. We're just going to shake that out a little bit, just side to side. Now come into wide plie and stick your hip out. Wide plie, stick your hip out. This is just to kind of loosen everything up. Wide plie, stick that hip out. Wide plie, stick the hip out. 1 more each side. And last one. Nice job. We're going to use our chair again. And we're going to go into that one where we're putting the knee up. So, we're going to be putting our leg on there as if we're doing a Z sit, okay? So like a pigeon pose. So, put your leg on there and then come into a lunge position with the back leg, okay? It's up to you how far forward you want to go. I like to come far enough forward so that my entire shin is supported on the chair. You can hold on if you prefer, or come into prayer position, or even lean forward slightly, but make sure your back is flat. We're coming down and up. So you need to wiggle around until you find the positioning that is best for you. So come down to like a 90-degree angle with the back leg, and then push up and slightly think about pushing your hips forward. All the way down and up. All the way down and up. So now the more you have your shin parallel to the chair, the harder this is going to be. The more you're going to feel the stretch in this hip and glute. Okay, the further or closer you have your heel in towards your body, the slightly easier it's going to be. Now I'm super tight in my outer glute, so I can't keep my leg parallel. 2 more, but this is definitely doing something. 1 more. Awesome job. Now just come into a position where you're kind of a little bit more upright, and we're just going to tuck. So this is for the back hip. Keep your legs straight, and you're pushing your hip forward, tucking. Just 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome job. Slowly come off, and we're doing the other side. So other leg is on. I'm just going to show you from this angle now. Other leg is on. Scoot yourself back so that you can come down, and your butt is hanging off, and then you're coming up. So you're coming down and you're coming up. You need to find the right positioning where you really feel the stretch in that back glute, in the bent leg glute. You really want to feel that stretch there, and you want to feel the stretch in this front hip flexor, okay? So we're working both sides of the hips in different ways. This is tough, but you can do it. So really try and push your hip forward here, so that when you come down and you come up, you're pushing and stretching the front of the hip. 3, 2, last 1. Now I'm just going to adjust this top leg, make it more parallel, and I'm just going to keep my leg straight and squeeze. Squeeze and push, squeeze and tuck. You're tucking your hips to ribs. You're pushing forward with your hip bone. Try and keep your legs straight. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome job. Okay, you don't need the chair anymore, so get rid of that. And we're coming down onto the mat. So we just work this leg. So we're going to work this leg. So sit in a Z position like you would do a pretzel. So this knee is lined up with your belly button. This leg is lined up in line with your hip. Try not to let it come forward. All we're going to do is try not to use your hands here. Tummy in, shoulders down and back. Push your hip forward. We're just going to bring our leg in line with the other knee and back and push. So in line with the other knee, back, and then tuck your hip. In line, back and tuck. In line, back and tuck. Over, back and tuck. So what I mean by tuck is you place your knee down, then you push forward. Push forward, squeeze your glutes and tuck your hip forward. Okay, in line, back and tuck. Straight and tuck. So you're trying to stay really upright with your torso and push. Now we're going to add on to this. We're going to come up and squeeze this hip flexor. So 2 more. Last 1. Now do one of these, and you might need your hands here to help you, but if you can, come up and push forward with both hips. Come back down, rotate, come up and push forward with both hips. Rotate down and push forward. over, back and up. You might need a mat for this. I've got carpet, but if you're on hard floor, it might be a bit sore if you don't have a mat. 4 more, and then we're going to change it again. 3, 2, last one. Now make sure you're not sliding around like me. I'm sliding all over the place. Now we're going to come up. We're going to step across and really stretch. Wide stance. Then come back. Maybe use your hand to help you. And you're back in this stance. So it's up, step diagonal, back and down. And you're going to need to use your hand unless you're really good with balance. Step diagonal and down. Now down here, tuck your hip again. So it's up and step and back and down, tuck. Up and step and back and down, tuck. This is not about being perfect with balance. It's fine for you to use your hands so that you really feel your hips. 2 more, up and step, back around and up. Last time, up and step, back around and up. Okay, now from here, we're going to bring our hands into the center. Sorry, our feet into the center, and we're going to rotate, tap our knee all the way to the ground and rotate. So we're going to do a transition. So try to really just push and push all the way down, keeping your torso straight. Try not to round the back. Across and push. So as your knee comes down, especially on this inside leg or this leg here, I want you to not only push your knee down, but I want you to push your hip in opposition to the knee. Push your hip up in opposition to the knee. Back and around. Back and around. Just 2 more like this. Back and around. Back and around. And now we're on this side, okay? We're going to have to kind of scooch ourselves back, and we're back in this position. And we're just going to start with those across, down and tuck. So you're just starting with the tuck. Sweep the leg across, down and tuck. Now this one you should be able to do without the hands. And tuck. So you're squeezing from the underside of the glutes and pushing your hip forward. It's straight, bend and tuck. Straight, bend and tuck. So this is a great oblique exercise as well. You should feel your waistline burning. How about 3 more? Straight, bend and tuck. 2. Deep breaths here. Last one. Now we're going to come up. So we're going to do this one and then come up and tuck both hips forward. It's down and across. If you need your hands, it's totally fine. It's down and across. Up and tuck both hips. And it's okay for this foot to be closer into the body. Up and tuck. Across. Back up and tuck. Across. Back up and tuck. So as you tuck, you're squeezing the underside of the glutes to push forward even more. 2 more of these, and then we're going to do that step to the front. 1 more. So we're going to come up, use your hands, step forward into a wide stance, and then come back. So you're coming up, step forward, back and tuck. Up, step forward, back, down and tuck. So this is a really wide stance and you're pushing through the back hip and then you're tucking here. So you're coming up and you're doing like a runner's lunge, back, down and tuck. 4 more. Down and tuck. 3 more. Tuck. 2 more. Tuck. And this is the last one. And tuck. Okay, we get to lay down on our bellies. I'm just going to move this chair even further out of the way. Hopefully you can still see Minnie. There's weights in the bottom of this thing, so it's actually hard. So you've got options here. You can either keep your arms like this, which will make it easier, or you can stretch them out further and kind of push your palms into the mat. That will make it a little bit harder. Once you see the exercise, really important to look directly in front of you to keep your neck in alignment with your spine. What we're going to start with is keep your legs together, point your toes. We're just going to lift up, push off that hand and tap. Do the other side. Push off your backhand and tap your toe. Push and tap. Hold your tummies in, push and tap. So you're helping yourself with your hand that's corresponding to the moving leg. Push and tap. I'm trying to keep my chest to the ground and my belly to the ground. It's going to pick up a little bit as I touch the ground, and if you can't touch the ground, that's fine, but I'm trying to really open through my hips. Now if you're here, it should feel a lot easier. Okay, push and tap. Push and tap. Push and tap. 4 more and we're adding on. 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to push and tap and straighten the bottom leg, lifting it. Okay, other side. Push, tap, and straighten. So you're pushing your whole body off the mat and straightening the bottom leg as you tap the other side to the ground. Push, tap, straighten. Push, tap, straighten. And if this is too much for you, then just keep with those push taps without the straightening leg. Push, tap, straighten. 4 more, then we're changing it again. 3, 2, last one. Okay, so now we're going to come all the way up and sit with our leg like a Z, twisting our body. We're going to come down and do the other side. Twist to the back. It's down and twist. It's down, back and twist. If you're doing this right, it should feel quite good. It should feel like a flow. And you can go at your own pace. You do not have to go at my pace if I'm going too fast for you. And twist. We're going to change this up again. And twist. So now come to the front. And we're going to bring our leg up and down. And twist our body. So you saw this before, but we're going to add it into this combination. Just 4, 3, 2, 1, come back down across, come back up, down and up. So you can extend your arms, you can put your fingertips together. My main point is that I want your knees down and then push your leg as far as you can to the back. You might even want to push on that leg to open it even more. 4, 3, 2, 1, we're coming back to the other side and we're just going to do 2. Come up, down, up, other side. Come down, rotate, down, up, and come back down. Rotate, down, up, and come back down. This is the last one. Down, up. Awesome job. So we're pretty much done. We're just going to do a few little Zs to finish. So I want you to, this is almost like a stretch, I want you to come back into that Z position, and we're going to sweep our arm and push our hip up and then rotate. So let your momentum help you here. So you're pushing your hip up and forward, rotate back, up and forward, rotate back. Really stretch here. Rotate back, up and forward, rotate back. One more time, and back. And we're just going to switch that. So you're going to come up and swing to the back. And it's up, you're pushing your hips to the front and back. Rotate up and back. And back. Two more. Rotate and back. And last time, rotate and back. Awesome job. If you want to, you can just come into a runner's lunge, a wide runner's lunge, and stretch that even more. You can hold this stretch for as long as you want. This will even more intensify the stretching in the front of the thigh there that we've been doing the entire workout. But you can hold it in front of the TV even. Maybe do a combination of hamstring and hip flexor stretch. And then just switch that out. Other leg in front. Come down as low as you want. If this position is no good for you, you can do this in a standing position. Maybe put your hands on the seat of your chair. Come back and forward. Back and forward. So your hips should feel a lot looser now. We did a lot of different rotations, and that's what's great for the hips. It really helps them to just open up and feel a lot looser. Doing this butterfly stretch, just opening and releasing through those hips. And it's a work in progress. If you have tight hips, doing mobility exercises like this on a regular basis is definitely a must. You don't have to do an entire workout. You can pick a couple of exercises and add them in at the end of any workout routine to really make sure you're lengthening and opening up through those hips. The looser your hips are, the more flexibility you have there, the less likely it's going to be that you injure yourself, especially if you're someone that's prone to getting injuries, or if you tend to have tight muscles like hamstrings, quads, then having tight hips is not going to help the situation. It can cause a lot of knee pain, it can cause back pain. So hip mobility is a must, especially as you're getting older. So I hope you enjoyed the workout. I hope you're feeling a little bit more loose in those hips, and I'll see you at the next workout. Bye for now.